The first step in getting federal aid.
State emergency officials could use federal money with our budget crisis. There is a list of Oklahomans who owe the state hundreds of millions of dollars, enough to save some jobs or services. But tax collectors say they can't get to the money. Our Oklahoma Impact team tracked down the worst offenders, and Alex Cameron found out why they don't have to pay a dime.
If you owed the state millions of dollars, you'd expect them to be knocking down your door to get it, right? Well, Oklahoma has a huge budget problem right now. Agencies are taking big cuts. People are being furloughed. Layoffs are next. But as much as the state needs the money, they say much of these back taxes are untouchable. Oklahoma Impact reporter Jennifer Lauren investigates.
This list shows the top 100 tax delinquents in the state of Oklahoma. Altogether, these people and businesses owe more than $200 million in past due taxes. Delinquent number 1 is Bruce Bonnet. According to the Tax Commission, Bonnet owes a whopping $111 million, more than the other 99 on the list combined. Bonnet spent several years in prison for bank fraud, but was released in 2003 and has yet to pay a single dime of the $111 million. Marjorie Welch and her legal team at the Oklahoma Tax Commission have the job of trying to collect from Bonnet and all the others. When it comes to the worst offenders, she says it's easier said than done.
We can only do what the law allows us to do.
Welch says, bottom line, they cannot collect money if there are no assets to collect, although she admits some assets could just be hidden.
People who want to hide their assets probably are fairly creative.
We went to Enid to check on Bonnet's assets, and we had no trouble finding some. This is his house, and this is his wife's new luxury SUV, a Lincoln Navigator. Not only has Bonnet not paid any of his delinquent taxes, he also hasn't filed an income tax return in at least the last 2 years.
Hi, is Bruce here?
But when we visited his home, his wife told us he was working. She also said they were aware of the list, but only because the media brought it to their attention.
Yes, hey, that's 30 years old almost,
right.
Or 20-some anyway.
I mean, but how do you guys feel having your name on this?
Doesn't bother me.
Bruce Bonnet would not come home, but called us while we were still there. I asked him if he has plans to pay the delinquent taxes.
Well, time will tell.
Do you owe $111 million?
I am not going to talk about it, Jennifer.
Tax Commission officials say they cannot discuss details of individual tax warrants, like Bonnet's. So we wondered, what's the point of the delinquents list?
So it seems to me like this top 100 list might be kind of useless.
Well, I wouldn't say useless. I think as far as looking at those big dollar amounts and just thinking you're going to raise $100 million and that will be beneficial is not going to happen short term.
Tax attorney Paul Tom thinks the list is just a gimmick and won't help.
I just don't think it's going to be effective or accomplish any sort of purpose other than shaming the people and embarrassing the people who end up on the list.
Just look at the top 10. 4 of them are corporations that no longer exist. Miller Exchangers owes $2.1 million, but it went under in 1984, and the owner is dead. JWM Corporation is its parent company, listed for $4.7 million. Becking Machinery owes $2.2 million. It was dissolved after a scandal in the 1980s involving kickbacks for county commissioners. Cron Computer Inc. is an Oklahoma City computer store that owes $2.6 million. It closed its doors in 1995, the owner filing for bankruptcy. Tom says the state may never get those millions because there's no way to collect them.
The state of Oklahoma is left to collect money from an empty shell.
But the rest of the top 10 are people who owe income taxes. Robert and Patsy Sutton owe $2.4 million in income taxes, but their address is in Houston.
I have never seen them go out of state to try and collect a debt. Never.
Then there are Jay and Jennifer Jones, owing $2.5 million. Jay Jones served 5 years in prison after a scandal with Tulsa-based company Commercial Financial Services. He currently works as a clerk at the Brewster and DeAngelis law firm in Tulsa. His attorney says Jones has no assets for the state to collect. Attorney General Drew Edmondson says in this kind of economy, the state must find new ways to collect the money it's owed.
Finally, I think we should more aggressively pursue the obligations that are owed to the state of Oklahoma by delinquent taxpayers, literally hundreds of millions of dollars that are owed to the state.
Jennifer Lauren, the Oklahoma Impact Team.
Under Oklahoma law, it's not illegal to have unpaid taxes no matter how much a person owes. But the state does charge 15% interest plus penalties, and the tax lien does go against your credit score. For Oklahoma Impact, I'm Alex Cameron.
Just this week, our Impact team heard from number 5 on the list, Jay Jones. He says he does not consider himself a tax cheat. We'll have his story tomorrow at 10 on News 9.